Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 338. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey.
All right, this week on the show, we'll be reviewing Alejandro Landes' Manos. We'll also be talking about someone watching on the watch list and going over this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to please consider reviewing us on iTunes if you get a chance. That would be incredible. A couple housekeeping bits before we jump into our review. No Ryan watches a movie this week. We're still trying to get that going again. Hopefully next week. I think we gave him a movie like a month ago, and I'm pretty sure he watched it. We just need to nail him down and record something.
Yes.
New Saved by the 90s is being recorded later today, so I'm hoping to have that up sometime next week, maybe the middle of this week, rather. I'm hoping maybe Wednesday, but no guarantees on that. Just keep an eye on our Twitter at 90spod, and I'll be announcing the release date for that. Good. I'm pretty excited for this month. We're going to be doing mob movies. So
there you go.
Yeah. Can you believe 4 mob movies were released in September of 1990? 1 month, 1 year, 4 movies.
Wow.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. And finally, we are in the midst of prepping our Halloween show. I just want to start plugging it now because this might be, maybe this is the most ambitious show that we've done yet. I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe. Perhaps.
We're doing a special...
Feels like it.
Yeah, we're doing a special crossover where we're going to have 2 parts. So the first part is going to be the weekly show, and then the second part is going to be Saved by the 90s, and it's going to be centered around one theme. I'm not ready to reveal the theme yet. That's going to be a surprise. But we're going to have 8 movies total, and we're going to have Kevin's going to come on the Saved by the 90s. Ken is going to come on the weekly show, and we're going to have a special guest also. So really, really excited for this Halloween show. We have a lot of prep work to do and a lot of movies to watch.
I think now that I agree that it is ambitious because I'm feeling the regret.
Well, you have plenty of time. That's why I want to.
Do I?
Yeah, you have plenty of time.
Do I?
This isn't going to come out until Halloween, so you have like more than a month. All right, let's get into our review. We're talking about Manos. Now, this came out last week, I believe. It is currently playing in limited release. And as I mentioned, it is written and directed by Alejandro Landes. I have a synopsis here. On a faraway mountaintop, 8 kids with guns watch over a hostage and a conscripted milk cow. Named Shakira, by the way. The cow's named Shakira. Mm-hmm. Kevin, what did you think of Manos?
Man, I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know. It didn't really invite any investigation on my end, to really think about this movie. It's beautiful in certain places. It's got some nice shots. Great location. Fantastic location. The score is pretty phenomenal. But it's really, really hollow. It's just not a whole lot going on. Outside of just like the basic, young kids that are soldiers. And guess what? That leads to degradation. I'm pretty sure we've seen that before.
Yeah,
numerous times over. It's nothing new, really.
Yeah, it feels very reminiscent of Lord of the Flies. It definitely has that Lord of the Flies vibe to me, where you have these, I mean, they're not like stranded on a deserted island or anything, but for a large portion, they are in sort of this jungle environment, and it very much feels like they're alone in the world, even though we know they're not. And even though we sometimes see more adults, for the most part, it's these children who are sort of running the show. The first thing that I noticed was just how ridiculously gorgeous the backdrop is. I mean, every scene is just incredible. Like from the beginning when they're in sort of the mossy hills to when they are in the jungle and you have like that river and everything. It's just everything is just so crazy gorgeous in this movie, especially like when you see them, standing on these mountaintops, like in silhouette, and it looks like they're above the clouds. The clouds are beneath them where they're standing, and just everything as far as the visuals goes is really, really incredible. And I was like thinking to myself, man, I bet. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it seems like this was probably a really hard movie to make, like logistically. I mean, you're shooting in these pretty harsh environments at times, and like all the actors, like everything just feels so dirty and sweaty and gross in this movie.
It's a lot of mud.
Yeah,
a lot of mud.
Everything is wet all the time, and I can't imagine it was a very fun movie to shoot, but at the same time, I think that aided in the overall like aesthetic of it, made it feel all the more kind of gritty and real. But there's a lot of sort of almost surreal moments to it as well. You have these like kind of weird sequences, and
it's got like a little bit of like magical realism type deal.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking of, maybe?
Yeah.
Which it could have used more of that, honestly. It could have used a little bit more creativity.
Yeah. Like you're in the middle of this war, but they never really say like what this is or what's going on. You're just
like why they had who their hostage is, why they have the hostage.
Right.
Why they're there.
Yeah, so Julianne Nicholson plays the hostage, Dr. Sarah Watson, Doctora. So we know she's an engineer. We learn that, but why they have her, we don't really know. It seems like the children are in some sort of like freedom fighter, like rebel group, maybe going up against the government of whatever country they're in. I don't know. Is it supposed to be Colombia though? Because it didn't seem like to me, it didn't seem like it was supposed to be any specific country.
True. Yeah, I guess they didn't specifically say outright.
Like to me, it was just supposed to be this nondescript, random country. But I don't know. Maybe it was very specifically or explicitly
maybe Colombia. But I think the main takeaway is supposed to be: did you know that war will fuck with your mind? Have you ever thought about that? And what it might do to children specifically?
Like we've seen this before, right? We've seen the idea of the exploration of children in war, children forced into very adult situations and acting like adults, but they're children, so they, that level of immaturity comes through as well. And I mean, we've just seen it a lot before.
Yeah. Oh, the old loss of humanity, compassion out the window.
Right.
And, then someone takes some drugs and we got a little trippy sequence there. So got a little drug sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're always fun to force in there too.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
No, that's pretty much where it lost me completely. Like up until that point, I was just like, okay, this isn't really my cup of tea, but it's not terrible. And then they were like, oh, there's mushrooms and shit. And they just eat mushrooms that are caked in shit. And then they do the whole drug sequence, and no.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's one thing that we learned from this movie is that these kids are gross, and they're They like to kiss each other, but it's like not regular kissing. It's always kind of like this really weird, gross kissing that they're doing. There's like significantly more weird kissing than I expected to see in this movie.
That's weird. I didn't recognize any of the kissing as overly weird.
Maybe
I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know. Maybe it's just not necessarily weird, but maybe just it made me feel very uncomfortable. Like all the kissing scenes made me feel uncomfortable for some reason.
There was a lot of kissing for some reason. Now that I think about it, there's a lot of characters kissing each other.
A lot of experimentation happening. These are adolescents here, and you have that whole thing with like two of them becoming partners at one point. Wolf and can't remember. Lady? Yeah. Wolf and Lady.
There's a lot of creativity in the names.
Yeah, you got Rambo, Bigfoot, Swede.
Boom Boom.
Boom
Dog.
Boom. Dog. Yep.
Lady. Wolf.
Yep.
Doctor. Smurf.
Yeah, Smurf.
Can't believe I almost forgot about Smurf.
Can't forget about Smurf.
Smurf was, what was he, like 9?
Yeah, he
How
was.
old was Smurf?
Yeah, he was very young. Very young.
Yeah. So, war's an unforgiving condition.
I feel like I'm sounding like I didn't like this movie, but I did think it was fine. There were a number of sequences that I did enjoy. I think, when everything kind of fell apart after they tied up Smurf and the doctor escaped and who was it? Oh, it was Rambo. After Rambo escaped and like that whole sequence of them trying to find him, I don't know. I thought all that was well done.
Yeah, I mean it's solid filmmaking. It's competent filmmaking. It's just that what it is just not. I mean, for me, anyways, it's just not compelling in any way whatsoever. But visually, yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable enough for the eyes.
Sure, and I thought the performances across the board were really good too. You have a lot of kind of newish people in this movie, and then of course I already mentioned Julianne Nicholson, and then you have Moises Arias as Bigfoot.
Which that was the thing that got me, because I kept, I'm watching, I'm like, this guy looks so familiar to me. And it's that fucking kid from, what is it, the Kings of Summer?
Yeah, Kings of
that
Summer.
That kid?
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. That's wild. That's more interesting than anything that happens in this goddamn movie.
Kings of Summer. He was also probably most known for his Disney Channel stuff. He was on Wizards of Waverly Place and Hannah Montana.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was one of the main characters in Hannah Montana. I don't know if he was like a brother maybe, or I don't know, friend. I never saw that show, but
breaking out. He's trying to be seen in a different light.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, sure. Everyone's good. They're good. They're all fine. It's fine. It's just difficult because, I mean, for me anyways, it's just there's not a whole lot there to really talk about, so we would really dive into,
Yeah, I did find my attention waning during the sort of interstitial moments, like just like the moments in between, like kind of the bigger action sequences, like when they get attacked, and like I thought all those moments were really good and exciting, but it was at all those in between times when they're just like fucking around, when they're just kids, fucking around, doing random, like rubbing mud all over themselves and wrestling and kissing and and shooting guns. It's just those scenes, while I understand why they were there,
it makes sense.
Showing that these are kids doing an undesirable job in the middle of a war, and I totally get that, but it doesn't make for really interesting viewing to me.
No, not at all. And especially when the main crux of your movie is just, hey, war's tough on kids and people in general. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I think there's about 600 movies maybe that have already discussed that.
Yeah.
So there was a cow for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought that was going to play more of a role, but it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it did lend itself to some pretty pivotal moments, but yeah.
It felt like the filmmaker here. It feels like he thinks he made something very impactful, powerful, important, but it's not really. It's just a great location and some kids dicking around with guns. Wrestling, some mud, the weird kissing, that kind of thing.
It certainly has its moments. It is powerful at times, but I would say the overall themes and the execution just leaves a little bit to be desired. Any final thoughts on Manos?
The score, I think, to me, outside of the location, I mean, you can't beat that location. That was pretty phenomenal. But the score, I thought, was really great. But I also found that to be a little frustrating, because a lot of times the music kind of gave this false sense of like, oh, something's going to happen. This is going to be pivotal, and then like nothing. It felt like it was in the background, kind of like building up these scenes that really didn't amount to anything at all.
Yeah, the score was composed by Mika Levy, who did Jackie, and she did Under the Skin.
And Marjorie Prime,
yeah.
That was a good movie.
All right, that's Manos. That's playing in theaters right now. So if you're looking for some really visually stunning locales, give it a look. Kevin, what are you going to give Manos?
Oh, boy. I'm going to give it a... this is a tough one. I'm going to say a 4.5.
It's getting a 5.5 from me.
Okay.
All right, let's move on and talk about someone we're watching on the watch list. Kevin, what are you watching?
I can't remember. Did I talk about Change for Life? Do you remember? It's been a while.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I saw that, and it's really good. So if you get a chance to see Aaron Schimberg's Change for Life, you should do that. It's it's up there as one of my favorite movies of this year. A little bit of
keeping that under the skin thread going with Adam Pearson.
Oh yes, there you go. Segue. Incredible. You see how my mind works? I'm not even aware of it sometimes. It just does it on its own. Yeah. So Adam Pearson is in there. He's playing he's an actor named Rosenthal, and he's hired. This is a film about a making of a film, right? Which are always the kind of like a sweet spot for me. I don't know why. I just like those movies. Kind of like the behind the scenes stuff. People trying to make movies. And he's hired on, and he's playing this. He's on this like ensemble cast of this freak show, right? So he has to share a bunch of scenes with Jess Wexler, who is like the star of the movie. So there's that main bit of them making the movie, and then you have everything behind the scenes of them trying to work through lines and all that, and trying to build like a working relationship with each other. But then something that kind of twisted a little bit is the majority of the cast stays in a hotel that night. Everyone that's in the freak show ensemble has to stay in this abandoned hospital that they're shooting at in order to guard all the equipment. So they're kind of like segregated off. So what they decide to do is like, well, fuck this. We have all the equipment. Let's just start making our own movies. So then you get all these little short films that they make too. So it's always like blended between those two worlds. And then there's like dream sequences that you don't know are dream sequences, all that type of stuff. So there's a whole lot going on. And all of it is good in my eyes.
Yeah, I've been meaning to give this a look. That's Chained for Life. I guess I'll start with Toy Story 4. Finally caught up with this one.
Ooh.
I don't have a lot to say about it. I liked it. This is directed by Josh Cooley, by the way. I didn't like it as much as Toy Story 3. I never saw Toy Story 2, actually, so can't compare it to that one. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. There were some really funny moments. But overall, I thought it was just okay. It didn't blow me away or anything. It didn't like leave me in tears like Toy Story 3 did. But it was still just a lot of fun to come back to these characters and getting into some new hijinks. So I'm glad it was released. I still think that Toy Story 3 was the perfect end point to the series. But the way that this one ended, I thought was a good send off as well.
Is there a part of you that wishes they just ended at 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was still fun to come back to these characters and get into some new, like you had Forky, the new toy, and he was really funny, and you have a few other new toys in there, like Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele playing these like carnival plush toys, and they were really funny. These like bunnies, and you have Keanu Reeves in there playing this like stuntman toy, like sort of a Evel Knievel or Super Dave type toy. Actually, I think it's like based off of the Evel Knievel stunt bike that came out in like the 70s.
Gotcha.
And he was pretty funny too. So,
all right. I also watched a couple of terrible horror movies. Jumping on horror movies early, and just making bad decisions left and right.
I can give you some suggestions.
Oh, I know. I have them too, but it's just this like, jumping on, and that's another thing. The streaming options that you have horror movie wise, which I think for like most people, okay, they might be decent, but pretty much everything on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, I've seen the good stuff. So what they have after that is not good at all.
The streaming offerings, horror offerings on Amazon and Netflix are not great. I think that's why most people just subscribe to Shudder for their horror fix.
Yeah, especially Netflix. Oh boy,
Netflix is really bad. Yeah, they used to have a really good horror selection, but something happened.
They did.
I don't know.
I don't know what happened either.
Maybe it's like Shudder's just buying up all the rights to these movies or something, because the Shudder library just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Well, one that I watched, which I just made a connection here, which is interesting, is I watched Mercy Black, directed by Owen Edgerton. And this is the guy that did Bloodfest.
Oh, yeah. Bloodfest.
we just talked about like last week or something.
Yeah.
So Mercy Black is, it's not good. It's not good at all. It's kind of has this like Slender Man feel to it. Like they're kind of banking off of that, because it's these two little girls take one of their friends out into the wood, kind of sacrifice her to bring Mercy Black into flesh and blood to help them. And years later, the one girl gets released, and she's trying to, move on with her life, and the whole Mercy Black thing just keeps coming back. Now, the main issue with this movie is that for the longest time, it really doesn't do anything. Like, it's not interested in scaring you. It's not really interested in entertaining you. That I can tell. It's just simply existing for like an hour, which is just an interesting choice, I will say.
I mean, what made you decide? Like, what made you pick this?
I don't know. I don't know. I think, honestly, what the ultimate reasoning was one of us just saying, oh, fuck it, just pick something. And we just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
The classic Netflix looking for something to watch. You just, at a certain point, you realize that you've been doing it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So either you pick something or your night's over and you just go to bed. Which, going to bed might have been the okay option. Probably would have been better. It's got, the funny thing is they like try to make up for it at the end, where all of a sudden it becomes Twist City. There's twists left and right. All sorts of twisties happening. But it's just, these twists are never to anything interesting.
I never even
all right.
I never even heard of this movie.
Me either. And I'm also learning that this is from this year. This is from 2019.
Yeah, that's what it says on Letterboxd.
And this was a whatchamacallit. What is it? Is it Blumhouse? Is that their name?
Blumhouse.
Blumhouse? Yeah, it's a Blumhouse production.
Interesting.
I think this is one that they just kind of buried.
Yeah, usually
just like, it was not good.
Yeah, if you look at all the stuff that Blumhouse has released, either on their main label or one of their side labels, they do bury things. Like, there was one that came out, I don't know if it was this year or last year, called Hurt, and it was so bad. And that was Blumhouse. And they totally buried that.
They do the same thing as A24 does occasionally. There's what was that one movie that I watched, that Hole in the Ground? I think that was an A24 movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never heard of this movie ever in my entire life. And that came out in 2019.
Well, I saw a horror movie that I can recommend that I think
What is it, please?
It's called Haunt. It's directed by Brian Woods and Scott Beck. And it's these are the two guys who wrote A Quiet Place.
Okay.
They directed this movie. I think this is their directorial debut. They wrote this also. Apparently they wrote this and A Quiet Place at the same time. And this was sort of designed to be the counterpoint to A Quiet Place, whereas A Quiet Place is one of those elevated horror movies that somebody coined that term, and I don't recognize that as an actual term, but people use it nonetheless when describing movies like A Quiet Place. But this is just your straight up, no holds barred slasher movie. There's nothing going on underneath the surface. There's no like deep symbolism here, no social commentary. It's just a straight up slasher movie. And the Woods and Beck, they definitely wear their influence on their sleeve with this movie, which I think is to the film's credit. It feels a lot like a Tobe Hooper movie. It takes place in a haunted house, so it's one of these extreme haunt type movies.
Gotcha.
And that was actually when we had a conversation about Bloodfest, because I was trying to remember the name, because I remember Hellfest and Bloodfest came out like a month apart last year, and I was struggling to remember Bloodfest when I was writing my review for this movie. And as far as these like extreme haunt movies go, this I think might have been the best one that I've seen of like the newer ones that are coming out. You know, you have this in like Hell House LLC, which the third one just came out this week on Shudder. It's just pretty basic. You have a group of kids, college kids who are out to have some fun on Halloween. They stumble onto this extreme haunted house. They go in, and it turns out the people running the haunted house are actually trying to kill them. And they not only are they trying to kill them, but they also set up traps. So like every room in the haunted house has like different traps. Some of them feel like escape rooms. In fact, there is like an actual escape room in one scene where one of the characters has to, solve puzzles to try to get out of the room. It's simple, but it's done so well. And it's effectively creepy. The bad guys in this, the slashers, are really, really weird and creepy. And it's all just it's a pared down slasher movie that it feels like we just don't get a lot of these anymore, especially ones that aren't that are as well executed as this. So, and also like the main characters weren't absolutely horrible people. Like for the most part, they were just normal people.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was a little refreshing too.
Ah.
Jeremy Saulnier was the other reference I was trying to think of. It has almost a Green Room vibe to it, where
Okay, I see.
there is some extreme violence in it. It's not like balls to the wall violent, but when it does happen, it feels pretty realistic. There's one scene where one of the characters gets cut with razors on her arms, and it looks so real. It was very, very disturbing. Anyway, I definitely recommend checking out Haunt. I think this is on VOD.
All right. Keep an eye out for that one.
Confirmed it is on VOD.
Nice. I have another horror movie that I would not recommend. Mostly because it's just bad. And also, this is one of those instances where I got tricked, right? Not entirely, but somewhat. So I watched Truth or Dare, right?
Heh.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking, it's Truth or Dare. It's a new movie. It's that one that just came out, like last year. It's not. Apparently, there was a Truth or Dare the year before that. Who knew? I didn't. I didn't find out. I'm not abreast of fucking Truth or Dare movies. They also sound like they're the same exact movie. Like, but what can you do with Truth or Dare? I mean, it's the same fucking movie. But I think this was like a TV movie. It felt like it. So this is the one directed by Nick Simon. If that's even a real person, probably not. And it's a bunch of college kids. They ran a house. It's a haunted house because years before the wicked game of Truth or Dare, and they all died except for one. So they go there and they're like, "Okay, let's play some Truth or Dare where we drink some vodka." And everything's going great until they find out that, you either do the dare or the dare does you. Okay? So you can't get out of it. There's nothing you can do. You got to do the dare or the truth. If you're lucky enough to get a truth, which I think it's the first person that dies gets a truth, right? And the question was just, are you an addict? And the girl's like, I'm not answering that. I'm not playing this. She's already seen what has happened. Like, the one guy had to grab, like, live wires, and he got electrocuted for, like, a split second because he was forced to, or they'll all die, right? So she had the easiest thing in the world to do, which is to just say, yeah, I'm an addict. I'm addicted to painkillers. And then she's fine. But no, she doesn't. She can't admit to it, and she dies. And this movie's really bad, but at the same time, it was also kind of fun because it's that bad, and it's just ridiculous. And I mean, some of the dares are just incredible.
How did she die? Did she just like keel over, or did something happen to her?
Something happens to her, and I wish I could remember to tell you, but I can't. I can't remember. Because in the spirit of the movie, I was drinking vodka. But I wasn't doing the Truth or Dare stuff. But if someone was like, are you an addict? I'd be like, yeah, I drink vodka a lot. And then I wouldn't die. So, it's just, and there's another one too, and I can't remember, but it's something really, really simple where it's like, all you have to do is, the one girl, all she had to do, the dare, and the dare's just like appear, like on paper or something. And it just appears and was like, tie yourself to the pipe. And I was like, what? So she goes down in the basement. She's kind of led by like some ghost or something. You know, doors are just open and whatnot. She goes down in the basement, and there's rope on a pipe, and it's like, tie yourself to the pipe. And she's like, nah, I can't do it. So a shit ton of cockroaches come out and kill her. It's like, just tie yourself to the pipe. It's like, that's all you had to do.
Like, what would the end game be? Like, when would the game be over? Like, how would you know that you wouldn't just be stuck playing that game forever?
Well, that's the thing, is you are stuck playing that game forever. Because honestly, the only thing that can happen is like one person can live, and that's it. Like the old game where the one survivor was, which is played by Heather Langenkamp. She survived. She was the last one left, and it was like the dare was like, pour the acid over your head, and it was just this big bucket of acid, just like kind of slowly moving towards her. So she put a shit ton of like baking soda on her face and hair, and then dumped the bucket, and she won. I mean, she kind of, really fucked up her face, but she survived with the baking soda. So you got to try and like outsmart it.
Okay. This actually
It's
sounds
dumb.
sounds better than the other one that came out, the 2018 one.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It sounds the same, but I don't know. This one sounds like it might be better. I didn't see the 2018 one, so I heard it was bad.
It's funny. It's funny because like some of them are, it's stuff like that where it's like grab the wires and it's like live wires or whatever, and then the one dare would just be like kill that person, and it's like damn, that escalated rather quickly. Like all the other ones are like you kind of injure yourself to make it through, and then the one's just like kill someone. It's just like, why aren't all the dares just kill the other person? I don't understand. Like, what is the ghost getting out of this? Why does this ghost want to play truth or dare so bad?
Yeah, that sounds. You might have to give this a look.
That's weird. It's kind of fun. It's ridiculous.
All right, that's Truth or Dare 2017.
Yeah, don't make the mistake. Watch the other one.
I saw Between Two Ferns, the movie.
Hey, same here.
This came out this weekend on Netflix. This is directed by Scott Aukerman. I found this to be really funny. It's stupid, but if you like the Between Two Ferns, show or videos on Funny or Die, this is basically just a long version of that. It's an 82-minute version of Between Two Ferns with a light amount of plot added to justify doing multiple, interviews within this. And I thought that it worked. It's dumb, but boy, did I laugh.
I did not. I actually did not finish this. I did not like it at all.
Yeah, I thought it was quite funny. Some of the jokes were just, man, a lot of it didn't land. A lot of it was really, really silly, but I thought for the most part, but to me, the best part was the outtakes. They show outtakes at the very end, like during the credits. And I think the outtakes made me laugh more than anything else in the movie.
I might have to skip to the outtakes now.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you like Between Two Ferns, like I said, if you like Between Two Ferns and you're looking for something, just dumb to watch on Netflix, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. I enjoyed it. Did you just not think it was funny, or like what made you turn it on?
I didn't think it was funny, but also at the same time, for me, and maybe it's been a little bit since I've watched like the original Between Two Ferns, little episodes and such, but it didn't feel like that. It felt different. It felt like his character was just like nastier in this movie. Like he was more of a dick and like a piece of shit. And it was just like, he's not like the bumbling fool.
Yes, certainly there is more of that. The interviews feel more like a roast than someone who's bad at giving interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with that, but also I think that some of the things that he said were funny. Like when he was
I
interviewing,
mean, I did. There was stuff here and there that made me chuckle a little bit.
there was a lot of really small throwaway lines too. When he went to see David Letterman when he was leaving, and David Letterman goes, try to stay off the grass, and they're standing in this giant yard, and he just looks around, he goes, I'm on the grass. And when Paul Rudd said, I'm not a practicing Jew, I perfected it.
Such a stupid little smirk. I did like the way that he ate Pringles.
Yeah, he loved to
Stack them
scarf.
up like sandwich.
Yeah, scarf those Pringles. When they were at the diner, and the dude from I can't remember his name, but from Wet Hot American Summer, when he was the server, and he goes, "My name's Mike. You can call me Michael." just something stupid like that made me laugh. And when he was interviewing Chance the Rapper, and he said that he had a brother, and he goes, "What's his name?" Community Chess the Rapper. Just a lot of really dumb jokes like that really got me going.
I'm enjoying you enjoying the movie more so than I did the actual movie.
And during the outtakes, when he's interviewing Tiffany Haddish, he goes, "You used to live in your car. Is that as fun as it sounds, or is there a downside?" Just a lot of really great one-liners. Anyway, I would recommend checking out Between Two Ferns. All right, let's talk about what we have in theaters this week. We got Abominable. This is the DreamWorks animated movie.
Okay.
About the old the Yeti, the old snowman, Abominable Snowman. I'm not too interested in this.
No, me either.
One that I am slightly interested in is The Death of Dick Long. I don't know if you saw anything about this.
No.
Yeah, this looks interesting. I'm kind of into this one. I think this is an A24. Yeah, this is an A24 movie.
It's an A24 movie, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, I think it's just one of the people. Wasn't it two people that did?
It's one of the Daniels.
Yeah, I think
both of them.
Yeah, because there's two directors on Swiss Army Man, right? Yeah, there's Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, and this is Scheinert. I think it looks pretty cool. Looks like it could be fun. We also have Judy. This is the biopic about Judy Garland with Renee Zellweger in there. Not too into this one either, if I'm going to be honest. We have The Day Shall Come. This is from the director of Four Lions, Christopher Morris.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was coming out now.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. We have The Golden Glove. We have Sister Amy. And that's about it for theaters this week. Let's see what we have on VOD. We have on the 24th, An Audience of Chairs.
Yes.
An Audience of Chairs.
I forgot to look what this actually is.
It's based on a
What
book.
is it?
It's based on a book. I'm not really sure as to the details. It says here it's about a woman. It says with her career as a concert pianist gaining momentum, it seems her beauty and talent will be strong enough to mask the demons that threaten to engulf her.
Oh, well, that's when you say Audience of Chairs, that's like the furthest thing from my mind in terms of potential synopsis. That's a downer.
It does sound like a bit of a downer, indeed. All right, we have Seeds. That's a horror movie. We have The Black String. That's the one with Frankie Muniz. with his
Oh yeah.
remember that poster, that incredible poster.
Oh, oh, it's Walkman.
Yeah, he's got a
He
Walkman
has
with
and a rapier.
the dagger and the
Oh
chainmail
my.
belt.
And I like that it says here that he's a lonely 20-something. Is Frankie Muniz still in his 20s?
No,
That can't be true. There's no way he's still in his 20s.
no, I don't think so. You can. I mean, he looks young, so he could. I think he could get away with playing someone in his 20s.
He's 34. Come on now.
Yeah, he looks young though. I think he could get away with it. We also have The Field. This is some sort of, I don't know what, looks like a crazy fantasy sci-fi movie. We have Empathy Inc. The old Kevin's laughing because we did a review for this at, I think it was Cinepocalypse last year, and this movie came out in theaters a couple weeks ago, and our review for it has just been bombarded with comments of people just raving about this movie, and I'm pretty sure most of the comments are fake.
I mean, it's every single day I get some sort of notification. I'm like, oh, a new comment. And of course it's Empathy Inc. Always.
The movie, the review that we wrote is good. I mean, we gave it a positive review, and the movie looks like it could be pretty good, but I don't know about all those comments. All right, we also have Drive Me Home. On Friday, we have one that I'm very interested in called Bliss. This is the Joe Bagos one. We have a review for this up on the site as well. Really heard nothing but great things about this one. Sounds crazy. So maybe we can cover that next week.
All right, we'll see.
That's a no.
We'll see. Well, I guess yeah, because I'm thinking back to the movies that you've already listed, and none of them. So maybe we should do an audience of chairs or Empathy Incorporated. That seems like a hot ticket. That's what everyone's talking about.
Yeah. Well, The Day Shall Come is also going to be on VOD this week, so that's a possibility as well. And then we also have In the Shadow of the Moon, which is going to be on Netflix, and that's it's kind of a sci-fi thriller, directed by Jim Mickle.
Oh boy.
I like Jim Mickle's stuff for the most part, so I'll be giving this a look as well, with Boyd Holbrook and Michael C. Hall.
Okay.
About a serial killer who strikes every 9 years, but there's some kind of like time travel twist to it, I think.
All right, because I'm reading about In the Shadow of the Moon here, and I want to tell you about the plot keywords on IMDb.
Do it.
And did you hear me when I said that Bokeem Woodbine's in it?
I do. Yeah, I remember seeing him in the trailer, actually.
Okay. Well, the plot keywords are abandoned factory. Okay, makes sense. This is the second one. Riding a motorcycle on a beach. So, just to give you a heads up, somebody is riding a motorcycle on a beach.
Nice.
Third plot keyword, beach. Just in case you couldn't surmise that there's a beach in play. I had to hit you again with beach. Next one, cargo pants. And then and then storm drain.
Cargo pants, storm drain.
And a beach. Motorcycle on the beach and cargo pants.
Oh my God.
God, I love it. Most popular cargo pants movie is Annihilation, just a heads up. And number 2 is In the Shadow of the Moon. So it's a big cargo pants movie.
Okay. All right. Well, now I'm definitely going to see this.
Yeah, you have to now.
Those awesome cargo pants. Blu-ray this week. Got a bunch of stuff coming out here this week, including Vampires from 1998. This is John Carpenter's Vampires. This is going to be on Shout Factory. I'm guessing this is a Scream Factory release, limited edition or collector's edition. I like vampires. I know a lot of people really hate on that movie, but I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, seeing it now that James Woods is like a complete asshole, I think I would not be able to get through it, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to separate the James Woods, the person, from the character in this movie.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Anyway, Child's Play. This is the new one, the one from this year that's coming out. Anna, which is the action movie that came out earlier this year, very recently, actually, just a month ago. Really quick turnaround on that one. Yesterday, that's another really quick turnaround.
Oh, God, yeah. Forgot about that movie.
Major League 2 from 1994. Big fan of Major League 2. That's my favorite of the Major League movies. Maleficent is getting a 4K release. I'm sure that's because the new one coming out shortly. Arrow has a couple. They have a few that are coming out this week, including Clive Barker's Hellraiser from 1987. They have Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 from 1988, also coming out on Arrow. And then also coming out on Arrow, we have The Hills Have Eyes 2, and this is a limited edition. And we should have a review for those three up by the time you're listening to this or shortly thereafter. I'm trying to crank those out. Still got some bonus content to watch. In the Aftermath from 1988. This is also coming out on Arrow. This month, for some reason, they put all their stuff out at once, all on the same day.
They're all going on vacation.
Yeah, like I got the package from them, and I look at the sheet to see when the release dates were, so I could prepare my reviews and get my schedule and all that stuff. And I see that they're all on the same day. I'm like, come on. Skin from, I think that it says 2018, but I'm pretty sure that came out earlier this year. This is the one that was adapted from the short film with Jamie Bell. Not too into this one. It's not very good. Pavarotti from earlier this year coming out. Awake from earlier this year coming out. State of Emergency from 2011. Step Dogs.
Huh?
Step Dogs.
Step Dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Step Dogs. The tagline for this one is "Fur will fly."
Oh man.
Two very different dogs move in together when their owners get married, but when thieves try to break into their house, these four-legged foes must team up to defend their home.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for Blu-ray. It looks like there's a Nicolas Cage movie coming out called A Score to Settle, which I'm not even like really.
He's sneaking them out now.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what this one is. An ex-enforcer for a local crime syndicate has vowed to enact retribution on his mob bosses after 22 years of wrongful imprisonment.
Oh boy.
The only thing diverting his violent plans is a newfound relationship to his beloved son.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm going to go ahead and say it's terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a couple other horror movies coming out, including Mountaintop Motel Massacre. That's on Vinegar Syndrome. It's from 1988. Stephen King's The Stand from 1994 is coming out also. And we're going to see like a bunch more horror movies coming out starting this week. Beyond Evil from 1980. Fear No Evil from 1981. Pledge Night from 1990. I never saw that. The Vineyard from 1989. So lots of horror movies coming up. What about Criterion's?
Oh, we have two. The first is Charlie Chaplin's The Circus from 1928. Got a bunch of special features on here. So many, in fact, that I'm not going to read all of them. There's too many bullets there. So if you're a Chaplin fan, you got The Circus coming your way. And then one that I've never heard of, which is Bill Forsyth's Local Hero from 1983. Apparently he put Scottish cinema on a map with his delightfully eccentric culture class comedy. That also has a bunch of special features.
Cool. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, consider reviewing us on your podcast platform of choice. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.